This is Good Morning San Diego.
2025 is almost here, and come the new year, new employment laws will take effect. Here now with what we need to know is employment attorney Annie Ellis. Annie, good morning. Great to see you.
Morning, Jason.
Happy holidays. Merry
You too.
Christmas week.
Merry Christmas.
All right. So tell us what are the main things we need to know as employees?
Big one, minimum wage. And less sort of earth-shattering news these days because it often goes up every January 1st, but it's going to go up to $16.50 for hourly workers on January 1st. That also means the minimum salary threshold goes up in tandem with that to $68,640. So that means if you're being paid on a salary basis, that's the minimum. But I think the more secret headline is the fact that the ballot initiative for the minimum wage didn't get passed. That's the first time in decades in any state that the voters decided not to increase the minimum wage. And if you remember, a couple months ago, there was an $18 an hour one. So we're going with $16.50. So that's the biggest one, I think, that everyone's focusing on.
But if you're salaried, say somebody has right now they're at $45,000 a year. Because of the minimum wage going up across the board, it's $68,000.
Yeah, but that's only a tiered increase. So this past year it was about $65,000. So most likely, if they're already at the minimum for what it was in 2024, they'll get a raise to accommodate the new increase in 2025.
Okay, what's another one that we need to know about?
So the one that I think is interesting that really slid under the radar, but I think is going to have a lot of impact, is this driver's license one. So a lot of times you'll see a job ad that says need to have a driver's license, car insurance, and a car. No longer are we going to be allowed to say that unless we can prove that you really do need that in order to do the job. So you're thinking, for example, maybe someone doesn't have a license because they have a couple DUIs, or maybe they can't afford a car or car insurance, and the driver or the employer has to be able to justify why someone needs a driver's license. Me personally, if you look at the legislative history, I think this is targeting one of those things in California where not everyone can get a driver's license, and so perhaps it has a disparate impact on a certain group of people. But personally, me, Annie Ellis, I think it's ridiculous. When are we going to draw the line at things that are just reasonable to have? Reliable personal transportation. Next, I'm saying, Jason, it's going to be you don't have to show up to work on time. That's how ridiculous I think this one is.
Well, now it's in post-COVID. People aren't showing up anyway. That's what we've heard about the Doge.
Yep.
You know, and what they're saying is we got all these buildings sitting empty and people are staying home, not coming to work.
The quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting.
We do have a couple other good laws, though, that I think are interesting. There was definitely a focus on domestic violence victims, and I think anytime you can up rights for domestic violence victims, whether it's in the workplace or otherwise, is a great idea. So this one is going to guarantee time off as well as the use of paid sick leave if them or their family member suffered some sort of qualifying act of violence. Like if you need to talk to a lawyer and you need the afternoon off to do that, you need to go to court because you got to testify or get a restraining order. Perhaps you're in a bad relationship and you need to protect the safety of yourself and your child. That's going to be protected going forward. We already had some of those protections, but they really heightened them, and I think that that's a good change for everyone.
All right. Any others strike you?
Well, earlier this year we talked about the PAGA reform. It's a little dense for a Sunday morning, but basically we have the statutory framework in California. I think a lot of folks have heard about it by now, where you can sue on behalf of the state, one employee dragging everyone into it for statutory penalties. We did a massive reform about 6 months ago, and we're actually now starting to see the trickle-down effect of that reform, which is not as big as we thought it was going to be. So maybe next year we'll see some bigger changes.
All right. Annie Ellis, appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Stuff we need to know about.
Yep.
All right. Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.